You are listening to the #1 rated Dueling Piano Players podcast with your hosts, Joel Randolph and Johnny K. Joel and Johnny invite you to join them online at duelingpianoschool.com and get the edge in the dueling piano world. And now, here are your hosts, Joel Randolph and Johnny K.
Welcome to the Dueling Piano Players podcast from duelingpianoschool.com. My name is Johnny K. On the line with Joel Randolph.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How you doing, Joel?
I am doing fine. Just got back from a long workout on a cold day in Florida. Those are all things you'd never hear me say. Long workout, cold day.
Cold day in Florida. I had a short workout on a chilly day in Florida. Yeah, it's the temperature dropped over the last couple of days. So it's the weather, you know. It changes as time goes on throughout the year. So they tell me anyway.
That's and you and I both kind of play in resort type areas, so that change weather really affects the show, and it brings out some of what some of our listeners had questioned me on some stuff last summer that we promised we'd get to, and then we didn't. So that kind of, with the change in the season and things slowing down for us, it kind of brings back to mind that how do you handle an audience that isn't just, you know, a rock and roll party the entire time that they're there? When it's a dead audience, what can you do to wake them back up and bring them back around? I know it's been happening a lot in my clubs, and so I've been revisiting in my own mind, you know, what are the things that I'm doing to change this attitude?
Yeah, it happens everywhere. I mean, every club goes through this probably on a nightly basis where the energy shifts and fluctuates, and you may start out slower. You may have had them rocking, then all of a sudden it's really dead, and you're just kind of thinking, man, where did we lose them? Where did we lose our audience? So, let's discuss what it is, what it looks like first, Joel. What do you think? Why is the energy low in the first place? If it's early, maybe they're not drunk yet. Maybe they're eating dinner. Maybe they're just kind of taking it easy, easing into the night.
They just got there. It might be their first time. They can't figure out why the hell they're going to a bar at 7 o'clock at night. It's still daylight. We're crying out loud. What am I doing here? There are any kind of reasons why they're not responding like you think they may be.
And that's fine. You don't want to come out of the gate, and punch them in the face. Hey, what's up? You start yelling at them. I mean, you can ease them into bringing them out. But we'll give you some ideas on how to do that later. But, what if it's the middle of the night? Had them going. And
I say is that one of the reasons that the crowd can be, kind of not responsive is because it's early. And you need to know why they're being non-responsive in the first place if you're going to figure out a tool to use to get a response out of them. And usually when it's early, it's because they're eating or they're drinking or they just got there. They're not drinking, they're eating and
talking,
still listening with each other. Yeah,
for sure.
And that party will pick up. So you just kind of need to watch for that and be aware of it. I think another type of lull is what you get kind of in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. Where that people that you had before, now they're done and over with. They've been there. They've had their fun. They're drinking. They need to go home now. They've been there 4 hours. They go home now.
Yeah.
And they just don't know it yet because new people have come to the bar and they're having fun and they don't want to leave a place that's fun. But, you could kind of get that lull where the bar is full of people who have just been there and it's time for them to leave.
Sure. Another type that I see a lot too. I mean, of course, you see this almost all the time. Sometimes not so much in the college crowds because the college kids stay out till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But in the places where we're at, people are not used to staying out late all night, and so they may go home early, or they may get tired, or they may get drunk. So past 12:30, you might start seeing people calming down, or even 1:30. It's getting close to last call, and they're done. They're partied out for the night, right?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, as you play more and more, be it in different clubs or the same club, you'll start to notice. And in fact, I think we've talked about it in podcasts before, and I recommend that you notice there will be times that, and me knowing this fact saved Johnny's job once 100 years ago, but there will be times when there is a lull in the audience. And at this particular club, there happened to be one 11:30 every Thursday at 11:30. The crowd got up and left. That was it. That's what they did, and it wasn't going to change. And Johnny was up playing with a newbie, and the owner would happen to be standing up there staying, and I sent those two up there, and everybody got up and left. And boy, I got in big trouble until I finally proved to him that, look, they get up and leave every week. And he finally apologized to me. Anyway, knowing these kind of things is important, that there is a lull and why it is. Because when we start talking about your tools and what to do to fix it, you need to know what it is you're trying to fix first.
Sure, it may not be your fault, but it's definitely going to be your responsibility to keep that energy going. I mean,
well said.
You know what? I mean, and I think it's important to talk about, if we don't correct it, if we just let the energy die out, what's going to happen? The first thing is, I think people are going to get up and leave, just like you said, at 11:30. If you don't turn it around on them, they'll take off. You will start seeing less money for everybody.
Yeah, somebody who just came in for a beer stayed for only that beer instead of, oh, this is cool, let's get 2 more beers.
Right. And it's up to you to encourage them, be a salesman, so to speak, just by using your talents and putting on a good high energy, upbeat, positive show, so that people will stay, so that when they come in, they're sucked in. And if you don't, people leave, people don't stay as long, they spend less money, you make less money in your tip jar, the till makes less money, and eventually the place closes and you go looking for work in North Carolina. But
they call in the wolf to clean house.
Well, there you go.
But
the store morale goes down too.
Down.
Yeah,
the morale down for everybody, the players, the workers, and can ultimately end like you were just joking about, but it can really happen that way, and has many times.
Yep. And you know what else is, if you go see like a show that Joel's putting on, which is high energy all night long, you never let that energy die out. And do you, Joel? I mean, I know I don't. We go balls to the wall, and then you go to another place, and so you've got this idea in your mind after seeing one of our shows. Hey, this is really cool. Then you go see another show that doesn't have that energy, and now you're just kind of like, oh, well, this kind of sucks. I guess it was just the other guys that were good. You're misrepresenting the trade. You've got a reputation to uphold as far as piano bars across the country and across the world go. I mean, yeah,
by not being energetic, you mean?
By not being energetic, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that if you
said I was misrepresenting the trade.
No, not you. No, I mean, we're guys like us are setting the bar, and guys like some of our listeners are knocking the bar down. Just falling over against it and getting drunk. The point is that you don't want to disappoint people. If they come in there with the idea that, oh yeah, we love dueling pianos, we've seen it before, it's a lot of fun, and then you come in with no energy, they're just going to be like, oh, we're not going to come back here. This sucks. We'll go to the other place that had more energy, that had more fun, that had people rocking all night long.
It's what makes it different. It's the energy. And I remember my dad talking about when he first came. Of course, he's come to love him to death. He's come to see every type of act that I've been in at least once. He came up to see piano show and just loved it. And he always used to talk to me when I was a kid about, and I don't even remember why, but he would say, those guys that you'd come up and say, hey, can you play? And they'd say, no, but can you hum a few bars of it? And then they'd start playing along with you anyway. And now that's what I do for a living.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cool, and that he came in and he really enjoyed it. And he was telling me the story of going back now to work where he's in accounting, room full of cost engineers at a power plant, trying to explain to them they should come to the piano bar after work, drive an hour out of their way.
Sure.
And they didn't want to do it. Come here, my son, play piano, whatever.
Yeah.
No, you don't understand. And he finally got him there. And the point was, you had to see it to believe it. But that was when you were playing there and I was playing there. And, gosh, a lot of heavyweights that I don't want to just go name dropping, but it was definitely a high energy.
I was the heaviest, yes.
Definitely high energy show. And I can see what you mean and I feel it now, especially where I work most of the time, at least for this week. I think, Johnny, is similar where you play, that we're not really a destination spot where people come from all over just to go to our bar. People come to our place and then happen to be walking by and happen into our venue or not.
Right.
And certain times of the year or certain times of the day or night or certain times of the week even, you might not get much traffic. Now, we happen to have speakers turned on outside so that the people walking by outside can hear us, and every venue up and down the place does.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So you have to remember that your audience inside may be sitting there in a lull for whatever reason we talked about, could be any one of the reasons, but walking through by the people outside, the speakers outside, do you want them to hear Rhinestone Cowboy, or do you want them to hear, hey, everybody clap, sing along, and upbeat tunes that are just, even if you're not making everybody with the scream and dance or doing a bunch of banter, you're still playing songs that they wouldn't expect, that they're going to go, what is that? And that is representing the gig.
Right.
Just sitting there and playing a bunch of slow songs is misrepresenting the gig. You've heard us all, not only your own club, that people won't come back now on Saturday night because they want to bring all their friends to say, hey, you should check this out.
Yeah, it's a good idea to be playing songs that people recognize. So when they are walking around outside and they hear you rocking out a solo to Great Balls of Fire, they might actually stop and go, that place sounds fun. Let's go in.
They give you an opportunity or an example of how to mess up everything we're just trying to tell you now. I was playing to a room, and there were maybe 6 people in there, and they were 60s and up. And so they had just finished dinner. We'd been playing as many old country songs as we could, but we happened to get them a little bit riled up. The thing was, we were playing old TV show themes, and they'd shout them out. My brother and my grandparents and parents used to watch them, so I could get my way through parts of most of them. Sure. Now, these old people in here were just having a blast. I was representing what the gig was to them. That they had never seen anything like this. They were requesting that stuff that you were making fun of me with. That's what they wanted to hear. Sorry, don't know it. Guess what? You're getting to hear this. And then all the hee-haw stuff that I knew that, sold it. So they're having a blast. Manager comes running into me. There's a concert that had just let out, thousands of people walking past our doors, and I'm in there just butchering TV show songs from the 50s. Now, I was not representing the gig to those people.
Sure.
So I don't know why I told you that, other than there's a place where you're just screwed by your own, own paying attention or not. But either way, I was playing to one audience and needed to also pay attention. There was another audience I needed to be representing.
Sure. So that energy is it's really important to understand how it's working and how to keep it up. And, yeah, because like you said, if it may feel lull on the inside, it may not feel like that on the outside, and you're going to attract those young, fun people in there to start rocking out. As long as you're playing stuff that will work across the board, anything off of those core 50 songs in Module 3, So what's this?
I'll tell you one other thing, Johnny, that we didn't really discuss before, but just came to my mind, and I know that we've done it. Is we've talked about entertainers, and we talked about the audience, but what about the staff that works there? Because if they are all in a funk, that can put the audience in a funk quick, too.
Well, that's what we were talking about. The morale goes down amongst the team of piano players, but the wait staff and the bartenders, too. You want to make sure they're having fun, too. And
you call one of them up on stage to do the dance or be the judge in your side contest. Now you've got the audience involved. There's a wait staff up there that had some fun with some people. Boom, talk about your left turn.
Yeah, and they can help you raise your attitude, too. If they're in a good mood. And if you allow them to, and you're not arrogant about it, or you don't live out of your ego too much, you can get them to reach you to make you feel a little happier, which happens to me on a nightly basis. But I work with very pretty girls.
The what girls?
I work with very pretty girls.
You got that right.
Right.
Well, and that's why you want to be aware of the stuff that we've been talking about, as to when the lulls happen, why they happen, and why you don't want them, and knowing just knowing some of the stuff we talked about, and pay attention for yourself, because you'll start to notice other trends in your own club. And if you certainly travel, you might get a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
But being able to deal with these lulls, it's effective management. It makes you more money. It makes your job more fun, and your career will last a lot longer.
Yeah, it's definitely effective. It's contagious too, and it will lead to success down the road if you can keep your energy up. And sometimes it's hard to do that. You know, you start thinking about all the crap going on in your life that may be bothering you or whatever, and so you just let that energy get sucked right out of you. And you know, you got to check all that at the stage. Just go in there, know what your job is, because you are getting paid for it. And when you do that over a period of time, you set yourself up for long-term success. A friend of mine, who you know probably intimately, used to say, "Ask me how I know." So these are really good things to do. It's really good advice, especially when you're trying to figure out, man, where did the energy go? And sometimes you may feel like you lost the crowd, and you know maybe you did, or maybe it was the other guys. But it's going to be everybody's responsibility to get it back up. So you know, one of the ways that we can do that now, let's talk about. What are those ways that we can actually bring the energy back up in the room?
Well, you need to make a change, obviously. So you retune it. You can retune your show. For example, like I said, I have an early dinner crowd where there may be some children, but we're open long enough, and I'm still playing that there's your late night drunken college crowd in there wanting to throw down and hear some Metallica sometimes.
Sure.
So there's obviously a lot of dynamic to the show that we do, and each individual player should be responsible or recognize their own dynamic. And that's where you change. Okay, normally I come in some clubs they want you to start playing slow. Not my clubs, I don't, but I understand that it works at some place, and you do your slow songs until you fill in, and then you start hitting them with stuff.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what you're used to doing. Let me put it the other way around. Maybe you're used to doing like I'm doing, coming in super strong, and you're just not getting anything. I need to change gears and just play some nice, pretty songs for these people, because they're not ready yet, and me beating them up is just going to drive them out rather than. And so I've actually raised the energy by changing my show. Now, I don't want to lounge it out, but okay, me just beating them up with one, doctor, give me the news, as you sing it, that's not going to happen, because they don't even know that song. They're not old enough. So now I start talking to them about being at the beach, and did you catch any, did your kids catch any crabs? Well, how about you? Did you catch any crabs? Changing what I'm doing changes the whole vibe instantly.
Yeah.
And now I've got their attention back.
Yeah, so we're going to retune the show to fit your demographic that's in the room. Your main demographic. Who are you looking at? Is it 60 kids and 4 parents? Twinkle, twinkle, little star it is. I love you, you love me, all that crap.
Hey, that's not funny, because we did have a Mormon convention at our place, and there were
4 parents with 60 wives.
Yeah, and they had a lot of fun at our club until 9 o'clock.
It's funny, I know they're called Mormon, but it seems to be more women.
It does.
Let's not get
Or
into
moms.
it. I don't like to get into religious and politics like some of these guys. All right, so we're going to retune our show to the demographic. Now, sometimes we have to retune our audience, as in turn over the audience. If you got a bunch of people in there that aren't fun,
They don't know what to do. They're just the audience, and they're probably drunk on top of that. You need to tell them. And I don't mean yell at them, have fun. I mean, okay, we're going to retune. Well, what kind of tools would you have to retune a room's attention? The audience's attention.
The first thing is, and you can find a lot of these in Dueling Piano School, the grooves of your songs and the musicality, the way you're playing and the way you're performing, that's going to be the biggest part of it. So make sure you are playing solid piano and singing and got a smile on your face, and that you are doing the mechanical stuff very well. You can just raise the energy in yourself and raise the energy in your music and just be playing well. We've said for a long time that you can get through a gig just by playing good versions of good songs, and you don't need to add a bunch of stupid bits to it just to get it to work every single time. Now, you can. Sometimes that's fun, and that's actually another part of it. you can do some bits or some show times or some call downs or, get the audience a little bit more involved a little bit at a time, but you don't have to make them all stand up. Fact is, most of the time they don't all want to stand up, but there's a couple that might.
I noticed, Johnny, you'd come in sometimes after I don't want to say a lull, but kind of a down set, the ending of the set before your partners kind of ended on a low note. And you went up there and kind of, instead of banging right away with a song, almost acted like it was beginning of the night again and started playing that digga, 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 just, hey, how are you, groove? And saying, hey, what's up, everybody? Who are you from? Make some noise with my partners. I don't know who you are. And you changed the whole energy of the room. Just, okay, it's different now. And it was all from you chatting them up.
Yeah, just talking to them and finding out how everybody's doing. Seeing if everybody's gotten a chance to request, asking them if they're drinking. Sometimes you throw them off if you actually just start talking to them individually from the stage, go around the room, and that's a way to absolutely get their attention and change things. But sometimes, they're busy talking, they don't want that. Sometimes they do. And it's up to you to kind of figure that out. And just like you said, the end of the last set may have tapered off, and if you get up there and you just start talking to them a little bit, you might actually be able to break through some of the awkwardness that the other guys may have left for you.
That's that big left turn that will retune your audience. And if you find, I've done this enough times that I recognize it, and sometimes can come from it the other way around. But all of this, when your show is connected with your audience and your audience connected with your show, that puts a buzz in the entire room, which people walking by, they can feel that. People who just walk in, people who are thinking about, should I leave or should I, stick around and party some more? They feel that vibe. It's almost like a church campy, except somebody, snuck some sour apple cider in the punch. But
I was gonna say, don't the bartenders create the buzz in the room usually?
Right. I meant the metaphysical buzz.
Oh yeah, yes. The energy, the vibe of the room. Yeah, absolutely. When you walk in, and there is that good vibe, people that's contagious. That kind of wraps you up. You're just kind of drawn into what everybody else is drawn into, and if nobody's drawn into anything except themselves, then that's what somebody else walking into the room is going to do. Hey, let's just talk to ourselves because obviously these guys aren't doing anything. So you do have that opportunity to create that vibe. Create it with your partner, create it with the team members and the staff. And, doing stuff like, really playing solid music, chatting up the audience, doing show times and call downs. That's really going to, shift the mindset of the room. And you can create something out of that.
I should point out, Johnny, that I get some emails sometimes of people who hear us talk about show times and call downs, and they don't know what they are.
Oh, okay.
Show times in dueling pianos are generally referred to as when the entire piano staff and the entire wait staff all do a performance type number and usually involve the audience with it. A call down or call up, as some people call it, is when a piano player would call a specific person or group of people, birthday, bachelorette party, or whatever, to the stage and make them do something.
Right.
There. This has been a public service announcement.
And if you don't know these yet, that's why you're at Dueling Piano School. So I think that pretty much covers it all, doesn't it? Have we mentioned everything that we needed to talk about with this? Because I know we're trying to raise the energy, and I feel like we need to raise our own energy right now and, get excited about going out there. I'm working tonight, and I love having this stuff fresh in my head. So I know when I'm going to be sitting up there at 9:30, and the room's going to be that I'm gonna jump into it and be like, okay, let's change all this. Let's do that big left turn. That big left turn is one of my biggest secret weapons. So I love the fact that it exists. I love the fact that we do it. But keep in mind, you may have to retune your show. You got to retune your audience. Take that big left turn. And you may have to retune yourself. Just raise the energy in yourself. As long as you're having a good time. This was told to me when I first started. The audience will believe whatever you believe, but you have to believe it within you first. So if you believe that it's fun and that you're having a great time, that you're playing good songs, then they'll believe it too. But if you're up there thinking this sucks, then they're going to think this sucks. It's amazing how true that is. Raise your own energy. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would. So there you have it, guys. A bunch of talk about what to do with dead energy rooms. I'd like to hear some responses on this stuff. I know we're going to have to wake some of you back up and send you some emails and get you to listen to it again, but I think you're going to see a big rush of some new members, Johnny. In the next couple months, I get to leave this lovely paradise down here and head back up to the cold northern tundra for about the next 3 months.
Green Bay?
Not that far.
Oh, okay.
Thank God. Nope. I'll be back in Michigan area for a while and doing some stuff up there and down in North Carolina.
Awesome. So you got some traveling to do. Well, happy holidays to you.
I'm going out to recruit new members. This is a tour to go find new members for the school here. So we're going to be working on some new videos as far as breaking down some of the modules that we already have. So hopefully people will have more questions for us so that I can get those answered in the videos that we make, and some other members that they can bounce questions off. And we hope to hear, Johnny, from some more of our friends that are piano club owners now, and also traveling players that have been out and about, like Josh is back from Hawaii now.
Oh, finally.
Yep.
Must have sucked living out there for 6 months.
Guess what? I'm taking him with me to Michigan and leaving him there for 2 months.
Michigan from Hawaii. He's going to kill himself.
He's never driven in the snow.
Oh, that's right. He's Southern raised, isn't he?
Oh boy.
So hey, you guys, if you are thinking about becoming a member, or if you are a new member and you live in, let's say, the Gulf Coast region, North Carolina, or Michigan, just being a part of Dueling Piano School could lead to future employment for you. So keep that in mind, because we're designing this specific tool to train for these clubs. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's why I'm doing this. But yeah, I've got another club opening in March and another one opening in March the year following that, and prospective one open for the spring following that. I believe that when I see it, but you know.
There's all kinds of other stuff that's happening too that we haven't even begun to talk about.
That's not talking about the corporate jobs. That's just club gigs. Just club gigs.
Traveling piano shows. Yeah. So definitely get on, you guys. Thanks for listening today. And we'll see you in 6 months for another podcast.
Later, y'all. This rock roll, Joel.
It's Johnny K. Peace out, everybody.